Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 7 Archangels, Ascended Masters, and the Violet Flame. So, some things we're going to talk about today is obviously we're going to talk about the Archangels. We're going to be talking about the Ascended Masters as well as how to work with those guides and angels, as well as we're going to talk about the Violet Flame a little bit. So, what are archangels? And I know last week we talked about Archangel Michael, but archangels are really, it's an angel of high rank, right? And while they're known to be part of the Abrahamic religious hierarchy, their purpose in our lives really is to affect positive change in all of our lives. Archangels have a bird's eye view on our lives, seeing the depth and scope of our human struggles from above. They can see this from a really wide angle view. It's that higher perspective, right? They understand and help orchestrate and maneuver things in order to help make our manifestations happen for the highest and best for everyone. The archangels have been given the monumental task of managing life on earth, including the creation and facilitation of souls' contracts, life paths, and spiritual development of souls, um, order within the natural world, and many other things, right? Each archangel has a different area of expertise, which works in conjunction with all the other archangels to ensure that the best possible journeys for all of us on earth while working in tandem with heaven and God's plan. So let's talk about some of the archangels. And I know that we talked about Archangel last week, but as a recap, his name means he who is like God, and he is part of the angels of protection. He is the divine protector. He's everybody's favorite bodyguard, right? He's known for helping with our life's purpose and helping to increase our psychic and inner power. He's very masculine and grand, and he possesses great power, courage, and strength. And he really does assist us with protection from physical and spiritual danger. He's amazing at helping us from protect us from traffic accidents, as well as those psychic attacks, right, or demonic possession. His color is blue, and he has a retreat in Banff near Lake Louise in Canada. And each of the archangels have a retreat, right, and that's sort of like where their spiritual vortex is. And actually, as we talk about the violet flame, you can actually tune in and ask them like to go and astral travel there for them to teach you certain things while you're sleeping at night. It's very cool. And we'll talk about that on Wednesday because it's really cool that you can actually say, I want to go to work with Archangel Michael in his retreat in Banff. It's really interesting. So we'll talk about that a little bit more on Wednesday. And his mantra is help me, help me, help me. And he's really powerful. I used him on Sunday, as a matter of fact, when I was driving in a snowstorm to take my daughter to a swim meet. And I said the little prayer, Archangel above, Archangel Michael above, Archangel Michael below, Archangel in front, Archangel Michael behind, Archangel Michael to the left and to the right. Protect me, protect me, protect me. And my intention was really helping make sure that I drove safely in this snowstorm and that I didn't slide off the road or anything like that. So, but he works amazingly when it comes to protection. And so you can call on him whenever you want. And again, you can just say, help me, help me, help me, and he will come to your rescue. So another archangel that I work very closely with is Archangel Raphael, for obvious reasons, and his name means God heals, and he is part of the angels of healing, and he helps us with inner and outer. Both mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical healing. He often works with those who heal others, doctors, nurses, and spiritual practices. His energy is loving and kind, and he's gentle and compassionate. And he heals all creatures, not just humans. And he assists in healing the mind, body, and spirit. And he is also the inspiration for studies of music, math, science, traditional and alternative medicine. And he works on meeting individuals' physical needs, such as food, clothing, shelter, and their tools of the trade. And his color is green. And his retreat is in Fatima, Portugal. And his mantra is I am the resurrection of the life of my perfect health now made manifest. Kind of a mouthful, but that's his mantra that you can use in prayer or meditation. Next, we have Archangel Uriel, and his name means the light of God, and he is part of the angels of peace. And Uriel helps us achieve our highest self, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And he's considers God's light, and his main role is to help enlighten us by helping us to see our strengths and our weaknesses clearly. His energy is bright and powerful, and he speaks with the purpose of empowering and enlightening us. He is a great resource if you need help elevating your soul and spirituality. And he can really assist you in rising up to your very highest self. He helps you to find inner peace, tranquility, loosening up the knots of anger and fear, and he helps you give a renewal of hope. He also assists in helping create a harmonious environment and nurturing creativity, growth, and providing inspiration, especially for those who are in service to others. His color is purple and gold, flecked with ruby. His retreat is in the Tatra Mountains south of Krakow, Poland, and his mantra is Archangel Uriel, make me an instrument of God's peace. And something I want to note about Archangel Uriel is that by being the light of God, he is an amazing protective energy as well. When my son was getting bullied at school, I actually called on Archangel Uriel to stand in front of my son to like be a blinding light so that others wouldn't like see him almost and bully him. And so it was actually, it almost worked a little bit too well because then he was like, well, kids aren't even like noticing that I'm around. And so I had to change it up a little bit. So be a little bit careful about sort of what you wish for sometimes or what you ask for. But he's powerful. He's a blinding light of just pure energy. And so he's an amazing protective energy as well, along with Michael. So Archangel Gabriel, and actually this archangel often appears as a female, and it's her name means the strength of God, and she's part of the angels of guidance, and she's known as the communicator of God in multiple ways. And as you know, in sort of the Christian hierarchy, Archangel Gabriel came and told Mary, I think, if I'm not wrong, but I'm pretty sure that he was really was the one that announced sort of that Jesus was coming, right? And so she's known as the communicator of God in many ways: art, music, writing, verbal, and emotional expressions, and all forms of communication. Her energy is elegant and uplifting, and her words are positive, encouraging, and intelligent. And she passes on only the information that you need to hear in order to progress in your life. She assists with guidance on your life plan or purpose. So if you're feeling like you're aimless or you're not exactly sure what your purpose in life is, calling on Archangel Gabriel is an amazing idea. Also, she releases discouragement. She increases joy, happiness, and life's fulfillment. Her color is white. Her retreat is between Sacramento and Mount Shasta. And her mantra is, in the name of Archangel Gabriel, my destiny unfolds and I achieve it. So next we have Archangel Metatron, and he is a twin actually with Sandalphon. And Archangel Metatron is the highest of angels. He is part of the angels of Ascension, and he helps those that are stressed, those that are in need of focus, motivation, discipline, and organization. And he is truly a champion for crystal children, especially those who've been diagnosed with ADHD. And his energy is more human because he was human before he ascended into the archangel realm. And so he offers more human like advice and tends to be a little more direct and analytical. And again, you can call on him when you need help reaching your goals or managing your personal or professional life, getting focused and organized. His color is a deep pink or violet color, as well as dark green and bright white. And his mantra is, in the name of Archangel Metatron, I am fully healed and ascending now. He's also known for his sacred geometry and Metatron's cube. And Metatron's cube really allows anything that needs to be cleared from our energy to be cleared. It also allows any healing that needs to occur to happen. And it supports the integration process when we do any form of energy healing in general. And so I actually have one of these Metatron cubes that's actually in my pillow and I sleep with it. And it's really about clearing my energy every night when I go to sleep. But you can have them all over your house, to be very honest. So I have one of these cubes, Metatron's cubes, and it's all about sacred geometry. So here's some of the other archangels. I didn't go into quite as much in depth because there's 12 of them. And so, but Archangel Ariel is the lioness of God, and she helps with the feminine strength. She works mostly with nature and animals and is really known as the guardian and healer of animals. Powerful yet gentle, she comes through as direct and authoritative, and she really does encourage you to live your life to your highest potential, helping you find confidence and courage. Archangel Azrael is whom God helps, and he's known as the angel of death. He comforts those who have a loved one that's passed on. So he's not, it's not like he's coming and he's he does help your loved ones cross over, but he also comforts those who've had a loved one that's passed on, and his energy is calm and comforting, patient and understanding. So call on him if you've lost a loved one and need some comforting and some compassion around that. Archangel Chamuel is he who sees God, and he's part of the angels of love, and he helps us find love and compassion within ourselves and attracts more positivity into our lives. He is tender and sympathetic. I mean, you can call on him when you're looking for love, romantic or otherwise. And he does help us to repair damaged relationships, helping us to get along with others, as well as helping to create new friendships and relationships in general. So, Archangel Haniel is the grace of God, and she helps empower spiritual practitioners with increased intuition, receptivity, and self awareness. And she helps develop our psychic and intuitive gifts. Her energy is graceful and soothing and patient. Call upon her when you are working on learning divination or working to expand your intuition. So, she's an amazing archangel to work with for that. Archangel Jophiel is the beauty of God, and he is part of the angels of illumination. And she helps us to feel more secure and to find beauty within our souls. She helps us to find confidence and to express the beauty within our hearts. She is warm and inviting and elegant, and you can call on her when you want to develop your soul in a positive way. Also, she can help you absorb information when studying for tests, and she can help us release our addictions or compulsions and things like that. Archangel Raguel, he is known as the friend of God. He's known as the angel of justice and helps us to be honest and truthful with ourselves and others. And he is the mediator of challenging situations and helps us to restore peace in our lives. He is logical and unbiased, so you can call on him to restore peace and serenity in your life. Next, we have Archangel Raziel, and he is the secrets of God. He heightens our belief and faith in God in the spiritual realm. He possesses a deep understanding of life and encourages us to strengthen our bond with the spirit realm. He is mature and wise and is intelligent and patient. So call on him when you have questions that you may have, and he'll come through with answers, and often in a surprising way. So Archangel Sandalphon, he is also this his name also means the highest of angels, and he is the twin of Metatron. And again, these were both humans that ascended into archangels, and he's known for delivering prayers to God. He understands the power of prayer and helps us to channel higher wisdom and knowledge. He's bright and powerful and speaks in a way that will empower and enlighten you. He helps you to elevate your soul and to achieve your highest calling. And then Archangel Zadkiel, his name means righteous of God, and he is part of the angels of joy, and he helps us with forgiveness and loving ourselves and others unconditionally. He helps us to find greater tolerance and utilize diplomacy in times of strife. His energy is gentle and inspirational, and you can call on him to help with forgiveness or even just finding more joy in your life. He is a very light-hearted angel. So next I want to talk about the ascended masters. So, ascended masters are high vibrational, enlightened beings of love and light, and they are the highest evolved beings in the spiritual hierarchy, surpassing guardian angels and spirit guides. Ascended masters have many different roles, but their purpose really is the same. It's to assist humanity with their own ascension and to increase our awareness of the spiritual realm existing within the universe. We're all ascended masters in the making, right? We all contain the ability to ascend to our highest level, but we can only achieve this through many challenges, positive life choices, through rebirths and lessons. Each ascended master has completed many lifetimes of experiences on earth and have undergone multiple rebirths. So, through this process of growth and self awareness and making conscious and consistent positive choices in the face of difficulty, they have achieved self mastery. So the ascended masters are the teachers in the most useful and practical ways. In addition to the metaphysical and esoteric, they can help us to grow in so many areas of our lives, as each master has his or her own specialty or mission, and they help us achieve our highest purpose, which is to become awake, aware, take responsibility for our own salvation, and attend to our personal growth and ascension process. These loving master teachers help us to elevate our thoughts and increase our spiritual connection. They share their wisdom and provide inspiration whenever needed and sought. They inspire us to grow into the happiest and most balanced spiritual human beings in human form that we can during our lifetime. So, ascended masters come from across all the religious, across from like all around the world. So, different religions, different thought processes, things like that. So, in the Abrahamic religions, those are like Jesus and Mary and Saint Francis and Moses and the archangels. For Buddhist, it's Gautama, like it's the Siddhartha Gautama, who is like he's the Buddha. Kuan Yin, who is the beautiful goddess of compassion and mercy. Maitreya, and then Tara. In Hindu, we have Ganesh and Shiva and Lakshmi and Kali and Vishnu and Sanat Kumara and Yogananda. In the Norse, in the Norse religion, we have Odin and Forseti. In Greek and Roman mythology, we have Artemis and Aphrodite and Athena, to name a few. In the British Isles, we have Bridget and Dana and Maeve and Onagag and Sulis. In the Egyptian realm, we have Isis and Mot and Thoth and Horus. And then in the New Age, we have Serapis Bey and Almoira, as well as Ashtar. So there's a lot of information. I'm going to go into a few of the Ascended Masters that I've worked with, but at the end of this, I'm going to show you a few books and resources, as well as that information is in your PDF. So if you're interested in learning more about some of these Ascended Masters, there's a lot of useful tools and information that you can get to learn more about them, as well as different ways that you can connect to them. So the Ascended Masters, I put Jesus first, right? And he's part of the Abrahamic religious, hierarchy, compassionate and loves unconditionally. And he really does help us to see and feel compassion towards ourselves and others. And he can help us connect to our heart chakra and tuning into our inner Christ consciousness. We have Buddha, who helps us to find balance and moderation in all things, helping us to find inner peace and expands our spiritual growth and understanding. Kuan Yin, she is the goddess of mercy and compassion. She's devoted to helping us fully open up to our spiritual gifts, attain profound knowledge and enlightenment, and to reduce the world's suffering. She helps us to find love and compassion for ourselves and is the divine protector of mothers and children. We have Mother Mary, known as the Queen of Angels. She is one of the most loving, patient, and kind ascended masters. She assists children, especially those crystal children that I talked about earlier, and works with parents to best raise their children. And she helps us find compassion for ourselves. And she's just a lovely, warm, soothing energy. And so during my sessions, I call in Kuan Yin and Mother Mary, and they often help with our heart chakras, opening us up to see sort of how lovable we really are, as well as working on giving and receiving unconditional love. So Ganesh, I love Ganesh. He is part of the Hindu hierarchy, and he is the elephant-headed deity who removes obstacles from anyone who asks for his help. He's the god of prosperity and wisdom and assists with writing and art projects. And so Ganesh, whenever I have a problem or an obstacle or something's in my way, I will call on him and I'll ask him for help. And he's an amazing he is again the remover of obstacles. He will plow through them. That is, he's the elephant who will just mow through the obstacles for you so that you have a much easier time with some of the challenges maybe you might face. We have Lakshmi. I love her as well. She's the Hindu goddess of prosperity and good fortune, and she brings blessings of abundance to everyone. And she really represents beauty, purity, generosity, and true happiness. And we have Serapis Bey, and who's an Egyptian god who helps people to work towards ascension through spiritual enlightenment. He helps motivate people towards physical fitness and creating a healthier lifestyle. He demands the best of us and pushes us to take care of our human bodies. Tara is the goddess of purity and love. And so she can manifest actually in many different forms and colors depending on what you require. So white Tara helps increase life expectancy and is loving and helpful, whereas green Tara quickly comes to your aid and offers protection and overcoming fear. So I call on green Tara whenever I feel like I maybe need some protection, or as well as to sort of help move me through some fear that might come up on anything. Next, we have Babajai, and he's known as the Deathless Avatar. He's known for overcoming physical limitations during his human life. And his mission is really to bring humanity closer to God and encourages people to follow their individual spiritual path. He assists in overcoming addictions, protection from religious persecution, and how you can simplify your life. Next, we have Maitreya, who's a Buddhist master known for bringing in more joy and laughter in your life. You can call on him when you need to release anxiety or to help take on your burdens and concerns. He often shows up as again that laughing Buddha. He's joyful, and he really is just that. A light-hearted ascended master. And then lastly, we have Saint Germain, and he is known as the master alchemist of the sacred violet flame, which we're going to talk about in a second. He is loving and benevolent ascended master who wishes to work with light workers, and he provides guidance, protection, and courage. And again, he also works very closely with Archangel Michael when it comes to protection. So I want to talk about the violet flame. Because again, because Saint Germain, he is very close to the violet flame, and so let me talk about it. It is the violet flame is a miraculous spiritual energy, and it corresponds to that high frequency violet light. To those who have open spiritual sight, they've seen this violet flame, and it is coalesced spiritual energy of love, mercy, justice, freedom, and transmutation. The use of this spiritual energy is taught again by Saint Germain. The violet flame is one of the causes behind the science of miracles. It's a universal solvent of heavenly alchemy and a special spiritual solution for our time. It is the elixir of our age. So that's a very big mouthful, but really it's all about transmuting negativity and changing it. It's so if you know what alchemy is, like the alchemy, the word was created, and it had to do with turning lead into gold. And so the violet flame is all about alchemy and transmutation of negative into positive. So Saints and adepts of the East and West have long used this energy of the violet flame to accelerate their spiritual development. Some have experienced the secret flame itself, and some knew of its power as God's mercy to change hearts and the world around them. And this secret wisdom had been really withheld for a really long time. And so, whenever you may have manifested in the past through your words, thoughts, deeds, or acts, can now be transmuted and released into the light. So everyone needs to do this individually and collectively, as you cannot take these things with you to move up in consciousness through ascension. So imagine everything that you've done, said, or thought that was a transgression can now be transmuted into the light and basically permanently released. So I wanted to bring this up because I actually do an abundance meditation every morning using the violet flame, where I release any thoughts of lack or of poverty or anything like that. And it's in your workbook actually, but I do this prayer every single morning. And it's very powerful. The violet flame is a very powerful method to releasing baggage, to be very honest with you. And so again, in your workbook, there's a lot of different exercises and mantras that you can use to harness the power of the violet flame. And there's books, and again, there's a whole bunch of resources that you can use as well to work with the violet flame. But again, you can use the violet flame to transmute fear and past lives, karma, cords, and anything that needs to be released. So this is another tool in your toolbox, right? So as we're working through all of the different healing modalities that we talked about in this course, the violet flame is another tool, right? And you can use it by visualizing a tube of violet light flowing into your body through your crown chakra. You call on Archangel Michael to help you, right? It's Archangel Michael, help me, help me, help me. And there's a few different ways that you can call in the violet flame, and it's all about the I am. It's the I am energy. So the preamble that you can use to start harnessing, one of them is in the name of the beloved, mighty, victorious presence of God, I am in me and my very own beloved, holy Christ self. I call to beloved Saint Germain and the angels of the seventh ray. I ask you to remove all blocks that I have, all limitations, any beliefs that I have around money and poverty and lack. That's kind of an example of what you could fill in the blank there. And then I ask that my call be multiplied and used to assist all souls on this planet who are in need. I thank you and I accept it done this hour in full power according to the will of God. So that's one way that you can sort of pray and ask for the help. You can also use this other opening, which is through my I am presence, I now invoke the violet flame. I ask it to flow now through my crown chakra into my heart and into every cell of my mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual and physical body. I now ask that it transmutes into the light every thought, deed, word, or act that I've ever made or done in this lifetime and past lifetimes with respect to poverty consciousness. Right. So you can use this for a multitude of ways. And in some of the books that I'm going to recommend, there's a bunch of different prayers that you can use to harness the power depending on what you need. There's a couple of them in your workbook that you can use, but it's a really powerful mantra that you can really start using to shift your energy and transmute negativity and beliefs and cords and karma, and it's really an amazing tool to have. So your homework for this week is during your morning meditation, I'd love for you to call in one of the archangels that you'd like to work with. And then really once you tune in and they show up, like write down how they appear to you, what messages they had for you. And then I want you to call in one of the ascended masters that you want to work with. And then same thing, write down how they appear to you and the messages that they had. And then use one of those violet flame mantras in your workbook to release and transmute an issue that you're having in your life. Right. And then lastly, journal about your experiences tuning into these spiritual beings, because you have the power to work with all of these amazing people. And the ascended masters that I explained here is only like a handful. There's over 140 something ascended masters at the moment, or that I know of. So you can really tune in and figure out what works best for you. And I'm actually going to stop screen sharing because I want to show you a couple of books that you can use. One of them that I use, which is a great tool, and it's this book by Doreen Virtue, and it's the Archangels and Ascended Masters book, and it's amazing. It's really great. It has information about all these different archangels and ascended masters, but then at the back, it actually has little prayers. And I don't know if you can see that, but it has different prayers that you can say regarding for abundance. You can call on different ascended masters for abundance, for clearing away addictions, for getting courage, for finding your life's purpose. So there's a bunch of different sort of amazing prayers that you can say that is in that book. I think it's out of print, so you probably have to get a used copy because I don't think Doreen Virtue is doing any more angelic. I think I could be thinking of the wrong person, but I think that she's out of the angelic business right now. But the other one that I have that I love is the Angelic Invocations book. And this book actually has, again, it's like prayers where you call in all of the different archangels. And it basically just helps you like pray for like your highest and greatest good for different topics. So this has like abundance and work, and clarity, healing different body parts, beauty and youthfulness, sleep and rest, releasing anxiety. So there's a bunch of different prayers in here as well. That's amazing. And then for the violet flame, like I have this book, which is called The Violet Flame, and it's by Elizabeth Clare Prophet. And she's kind of known as one of like the founding people to like channel the violet flame. So again, this book has lots of really useful information and different mantras that you can use. And again, I did provide a couple of them in the workbook that you can use. When it comes to archangels as well and ascended masters, for oracle decks, this is the one that I happen to have. There's a few others also referenced in your workbook. And this one is called The Keepers of the Light. And so they go into a bunch of different, so there is different, so like they have a Kuan Yin card, and they have Sanat Kumara, who is another ascended master. So lots of different, and I pull one. I used to pull them daily. Now I pull them weekly on what ascended master I need to work with and harness the power of for the week. So for this week, I actually pulled Archangel Michael. So I'm working with Archangel Michael this week, all about protection and everything. And then a couple other books that are really great is, again, this one is the Complete Encyclopedia of Angels, but it's not actually just angels. So it does talk about different angels, but it also goes into ascended masters. So there's Confucius. So there's like information about Confucius, like, and here's Maitreya. So there's like lots of just different references out there that you can use if you want to really get to know them a little bit more. I also have the Lessons from the 12 Archangels, which is another great book. Archangels of Magic, which is like how you can harness the power of archangels to create magic in your life. And then another book by Doreen Virtue is Angels 101, which is another like really great, easy read, but gives you this one has more like the Angels 101 book has more, it's more about some little short stories about different archangels and like how the other people have worked with them. So those are some references that I have for you guys. Again, I wrote all of these down in your workbook so you can have them to look up again. Some of them I've gotten out of the library and checked them out before I went and purchased them. Some of them I purchased. But again, you can use them and harness the power in whatever way that you really want to. But I will tell you that these two I use like daily or like every other day. So between prayers or just like mantras and stuff like that. So I use those often. But I hope that helped you. And I hope that you guys, if you have any questions, bring them on Wednesday. And again, on Wednesday, we're going to talk a little bit more about the violet flame. We're going to talk about how you can go into and work with the archangels in their retreats to get some additional sort of downloads on some information that maybe you want to receive. And we'll talk a little bit more about the violet flame too. So I hope you guys have a great week and I'll see you guys on Wednesday.